Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Today, hold on. Today is still Monday, March 24th, 2025. Back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it, as always. And if y'all noticed, which I'm sure you have, if you watch me, you noticed it, shit. My last video or two has been about freedom. Has been about escaping slavery. Modern day slavery. The desire, the want, the need that I have to be free. I have to be free, or I don't want to be here. If I can't be free, I don't want to be alive. Which gives meaning to the phrase, give me liberty or give me death. Now, let's tackle this slavery thing. What is it? How long has it been around? Who started it? And for what reasons? Now, if you look back, since the beginning of time, believe it or not, as far back in history as you can go, as much information as you may have, as far back as you can go in time, there's always been some form of slavery. There's always been some form of one group of people serving another group of people. Whether it be forced labor, unpaid, or paid. Throughout our entire existence on this earth, on this planet, there's always been a group of people seeking to control, through one form or another group of people. And it's usually the dynamic of the have and the have-nots. So, I'm the type of person, whether I'm a have or a have not, something designed in me, something within me, makes me not be able to cope with being enslaved to anybody. Now, as I've tackled this topic on the last few videos, I will see people in the comments say, but yeah, we all slaves. And I say, speak for yourself. We're not all slaves. Again, if you go all the way back throughout history, you've had somebody enslaving and somebody being enslaved. But you also had somebody right there in the middle that was free. They were free. You had the slave master, you had the slave, but y'all keep forgetting when y'all come at me with your little comment about we all slaves, you forget that there was somebody in there also that was called freedmen. They were free by one form of fashion. They wasn't a slave master, but they wasn't a slave either. Some kind of way they had gotten their freedom. You know the saying, freedom ain't free. Which means freedom is for sale. It can be bought, purchased, earned, fought for. But it can be obtained. So y'all need to miss me with that we all slave stuff. No, we not. Never throughout history have everybody been slaves. Even slavery in America, all black people was not slaves. Even though black people in America during the 1800s or what have you, the majority of black people in America were slaves, but not all. Even during the height of slavery in America, there were still black people that were free. My goal, my dream, and what I'm trying to pass on to y'all, the understanding and the mindset that I'm trying to instill in y'all, yes, we were all slaves at one time. Whether it be free slavery or we getting paid to work for somebody else, it's still a form of slavery. But back to the freedom ain't free. In other words, freedom can be bought. There were slaves back during slavery that would save up enough money to purchase their freedom. Keyword, money. There were slaves that would save up enough money to buy their freedom, to become free. There's the saying called financial freedom. Keep these words in mind as I go on with this video. When I tell y'all, I'm a runaway slave, I'm still not free, but I'm chasing my freedom. I'm striving for my freedom papers. I ran away from the plantation, so I'm no longer a slave, but I'm on the run. I'm a runaway slave, but I'm running for my freedom. I'm trying to get to a place where I'm free. There is a place out there that I can get to, that you as a runaway slave, if you run away from the plantation, if you take off running, seeking your freedom, at some point in time, there is a place out there in the world where you and I can be free. No longer a slave. I'm going to give you a few examples what freedom looks like in this modern day world we live in, under this modern day system of slavery. There have been different types of slavery systems throughout history. They have not all been the same. Example, American slavery, the North Atlantic slave trade. That type of slavery was brutal. You had people under whip, chain, and the fear of death forced to work for free. That's one type of slavery. They call it chattel slavery. That was during that era. That form of slavery was abolished, was banned. That form of slavery was abolished and banned. The Emancipation Proclamation Act and a few more other bills and laws were passed to make it illegal to enslave another human being on American soil, except when you're doing time paying your debt to society for a crime. So being in prison is legal slavery. So now, that was the form of slavery back then. They abolished it, but slavery still exists. Now we have another form of slavery. It's called capitalism. It's called capitalism. That's the form of slavery they transitioned to. From chattel slavery, where you have people enslaved that feared for their lives, so they worked for free until that were set free. And it transitioned to another form of slavery. Capitalism. Well, you're still a slave. You still have a slave master and a slave. The slave works for the slave master. It went from him working for free till you get a few trinkets for your work. But you're still a slave because you still got to depend on that slave master for your survival. Your boss. And just like during the old slavery, where you can buy your freedom, in this modern slavery, your freedom is for sale as well. You can buy your freedom today and become free. How do you do that? There's a number of ways. At the bottom of the totem pole, you look at the homeless people. They're free. You look at the people that live off the grid. They're free. What makes them free is they have gotten away from the capitalist society. They're no longer living by the capitalist rule. So they're no longer chasing money. They're no longer depending on money for their survival. But they're at the bottom of the totem pole. They're living a menial life that most of us don't want to live. I want to be free. I don't want that version of freedom. I want another version that I'm going to tell you about after this. I want the other version of freedom. I don't want that version. The way I just say I quit. I ain't going to play no more. Because we're playing a game, the game called life. Life is a game that you must learn to play. You must play by the rules or you lose. Life is one big game. The game of life and how to play it is what I'm trying to teach you. As I'm learning myself. I ain't been too long to learn my damn self while I had been losing. Because I didn't accept the fact that life is a game. I wasn't willing to play by the rules. So as I was playing, you playing a game whether you want to or not. If you're alive, you're playing a game. The game of life. Whether you accept it, acknowledge it, or agree with it or not, by you being here, you playing it. Without your permission. You in the game now. That's what we're doing. Maybe we are somebody's entertainment somewhere watching us play the game. But as human beings, we are playing a game called life. And within a game, you better learn the rules of how to play it. Or you don't have a chance in hell of winning. The game of life and how to play it. The people that I just named, the homeless people, the people off the grid, they found a way to where they said, you know what? Because there's consequences you must suffer if you quit. Because we're not allowed to quit. Under certain circumstances you can quit, but you're going to suffer. It's going to be, you ain't going to have much. You're going to be homeless when you quit. When you decide, I ain't been finna be out here trying to make no money, chasing no money, just that, I ain't doing it. I'm not gonna be paying all these light bill, water bill, gas bill, rent, mortgage. I'm not doing it. So you quit. So you live off the grid. Or you be homeless. I don't want that. So I ain't quitting. So another version of freedom in this game of life is when you do as the slave did. Get your money up and buy your freedom. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm chasing the money. I'm a runaway slave. I left my job and got out here doing my own independent thing. Because I'm chasing my freedom. I'm trying to buy my freedom. I'm trying to get as much money as I possibly can so I can afford the cost of what it costs to be free. It costs to be free. Freedom ain't free. These so-called millionaires and billionaires that we all want to be, even though a lot of us hate them, you still want to be one. You know why? They free. They free. Freedom in this society, from modern day slavery, not the old school slavery, the slavery we live in right now, freedom is when you don't have to work. Whether it be you being homeless, or whether it be you got so much money now the way you don't need to work to survive. Freedom is when you don't have to work on nobody's job to survive. That's freedom. Slavery is when you have to put in service, whether paid or free, for another human being, whether you want to or not. But you gotta do it to survive. When you no longer have to do that, you're free. Follow me? Freedom ain't free, but freedom exists. You just gotta pay for it. So jokers like me and other people that are trying to be millionaires, billionaires, this, that, and the other, y'all might think you're just greedy. You just want to buy fancy cars and big houses. That comes along with it. That's a perk, a byproduct. But if you're too stupid with that, you're going to go back to being a slave again. My purpose, my desire, my need, my want, why I ran from the plantation, and why I'm chasing my freedom, I'm heading up north. Because I heard they were free up there. Just a symbolism. The slaves back in the day, they would go from the south to the north to escape slavery to become free. Well, I'm a runaway slave. And I'm running. I'm not free yet. I'm not a slave anymore. But I'm still not free. I'm just on the run. I'm trying to get to a point where I don't have to run no more. Right now I'm running, chasing my freedom. But I'm still not free. For those of y'all who keep saying, big boy, we all slave, you ain't free. I'm not free, but I'm not a slave either. I ran. I'm a runaway slave. Running towards freedom. And I'm not going to stop until I get there. I'm going to keep running, as I told y'all to do. If you have escaped the plantation, keep running. Freedom is out there. Don't let them slaves that's still enslaved, that are afraid and refuse to run, to at least try to be free. Don't let them discourage you from you chasing your freedom. The dream killers. You ain't gonna be able to make all that money like that. That business ain't gonna pop off. That's a bad idea. That ain't gonna work. You know, the slaves that remain slaves. When I told them boys on my job, on the plantation that I was working on, I said, I want my own truck. I want to start my own business. I want my own company. Man, that's too much headache. Man, you ain't going to be, you know all that paperwork you got to do? You know you got to do all this. You got to do all that. Those are slaves that refuse to even try to escape. Yes, it's true. What I may be attempting to do might not work. But I'll be damned if I ain't going to try. I'm Kunta. They got to cut my foot off, my leg off, every goddamn thing to keep me from running. I'm a runner. What's wrong with y'all? How do y'all accept being slaves? I'm going to run to the day I die. And that's what I'm doing now. Because I know freedom is out there. Freedom exists. But only a few of us find it. That's the caveat. Only a few people on this planet are free. But there are people on this planet that are free. Keep that in mind. And the way I feel about it, if one person can be free, I can be free. And that's what I'm doing by chasing this money. I'm trying to get up enough money to buy my freedom. I'm not trying to buy a Lamborghini even though I'm going to buy one. I'm not trying to buy a mansion even though I'm going to buy one. My main goal and purpose for chasing this money is I want to buy my freedom. Because I refuse to live my life as a slave. How about you? Get it, got it, good. Bye.